Alright, you're welcome to the Chem Lab Chemistry lecture. Today we're going to continue from our last lecture, separation techniques. And the last time we were here, we looked at sealing and magnetic separation. So today we're going to be looking at sublimation and filtration. Now, sublimation. What is sublimation? Sublimation is simply concerned with separating solid from other what particles. Now, the solid you intend to separate are actually solids that turn to gas directly without passing through the what liquid what state. Okay, an example of such solid is camphor. Now, if you put camphor in a room, after some time you discover that the camphor has what disappeared. Now, when you check that place where you put that camphor, you will not see any form of what liquid in that area. Rather, you will see that it has completely what disappeared. So it means that that camphor has turned into what a gaseous state, and you can sense the fact that it has turned into a gaseous state by the what smell that is around that area. It will be smelling like what there's camphor in that area. So that camphor has turned directly to what the gaseous state without passing through the liquid state. So we could actually say that the camphor has what sublimed. Okay, so sublimation is the separation of solids that turns directly into liquid, into gas from other particles or substances. You could also say sublimation is the separation of solids that sublimes from solids that do not sublime. Now, the question is, what is sublime? Sublime is that it changes directly to what? Gaseous state without passing through the what? Liquid state. That is what sublime simply means. So, NB, sublime means passing through, or rather, sublime means changing to gaseous states without passing through the liquid state. That's the meaning of sublime. Now, having said that, let's move over to what we call filtration. Filtration. Now, the question is, what is filtration? Have you ever tried to cook rice and then, first of all, you parboil the rice, then after the rice must have boiled, you get your what? Filter. Something that look like your basket, and you turn your rice into it. Now, what happens? The water separates out while the rice remains on the what? Filter. Okay? So, filtration is actually concerned with what? Separating solid particles from liquid. That's filtration. Separating what? Solid particles from what? Liquid. An example is is the illustration I gave before I actually told you what filtration is, which has to do with separating your parboiled rice from the what? The water. So, filtration. This means separating solid particles from liquid particles. particles. Now, let me quickly say this. There's difference between filtration and sieving. Now, sieving is what? Separating solid particles only. But in sieving, the solid particles are of different sizes. While filtration is what? Separating what? Solid particles from liquid particles. Okay? So most of the times we mix them up. We kind of like think, oh, filtration is can be used in place of what? Sieving. For example, now you hear people say filter the garri. No, you don't filter the garri now. Or filter the what do you call it, cassava. You don't filter it. Remember the illustration I gave when I was explaining sieving. I said sieving has to do with what? Separating the garri particles from the what? Sand particles. Okay? So both are solid particles. The garri particles and the sand particles are solid particles, but they are of different what? Sizes. So sieving is the best separation technique to use for such cases where you are dealing with what? Solid particles that are of different sizes, while filtration is the best separation technique to use when you are separating what? Solid particles from what? Liquid what? Particles. I believe we have successfully made that clear. In our next class, we're going to look at other separation techniques that has to do with what? Separating what? Mixtures. Is that clear? Remember, we said mixture is what? Is a substance made up of what? Elements, compounds, and other what? Particles that can be separated by what? Physical what? Method. And those physical methods are what we call separation techniques, which we have been talking about since. Is that clear? So if you actually learned something from this lecture today, I would like you to click on the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel. Click on the notification button as well so that you can always get notified of any new video which we what? Share on our what? Channel. Do have a nice day.